Thank you for meeting with me today. I don't know if there's anything I have that interests you, but we'll go through it and see. Um, there isn't anything for you to buy today, so just sit back and relax and just be aware of things that I talk about and see if that's an interest to you. I work for Federal Financial Group. We're a group of insurance agents, insurance companies, and financial companies that have $1 billion worth of asset and been around for 100 years. We specifically do life insurance and annuities, and we are in the process of helping people become financially independent. We teach you how money works, how you can make it work better for you, and how to become financially independent. Now, isn't that a marvelous thing? Financially independent. What does that mean to you? Ah, yeah. Financially independent is being able to do what you want, when you want, and how you want because you have the money to do it. Now, wouldn't you like to know how to get there a lot sooner? Okay. So, what we're going to do today is, well, first of all, I'm going to tell you about what's going on today. I mean, people have got raises, but at the same time, inflation has been a big part. It, what do I want to say? Um, the more money we make, the more money they take from gas, for rent, for utilities, whatever. Things are going up as fast as our paychecks are. And people are beginning to rely more and more on on the credit cards and get deeper and deeper in debt. Now, if 100 people were to retire today at 65, oh, wouldn't that be fine? Anyway, um, how many do you think would be financially secure? Only four. Four. What do the other 96 do? Well, some move in with family, some go on welfare, and there are a lot out there still working. And you've seen them. They're working at Walmart. Um, my colleagues, my colleagues the other day went into Wendy's to get a chicken sandwich. Anyway, there was a white-haired lady that she was down on the floor scraping gum off the floor. And they asked her why she was doing that, and she says, to make ends meet. And so she had to work at Walmart. Now, I was in a Walmart in Caldwell, Idaho, a couple weeks ago, and I was behind a white-haired man. I was admiring his hair. It was such a pretty shade of white, and it was so even. But had I not been watching his head, I would run over the top of him because he bent down and was scraping price tags off the entryway at Walmart. Now, that's not what I want to be doing at 65. I would rather continue on my lifestyle here than be doing something like that. So, that's kind of hard, tough. Well, what FFG has done is we have 7 steps to help you become financially secure. Now, I'm going to go through them one at a time, and they all mix together, and they all run together, and they all are part of each other. So, I'm going to go through rather quick. If you see what you have a question, stop me, and I'll answer it. And while you're listening to me, why don't you make a note of the ones that you need the best. The first one of our 7 steps is to inspect what you expect. And you need to know where you're spending your money. One of the reasons being that if we make out a budget for you and we budget incidentals at $2,000 and you're spending $3,000, something isn't going to work. So we need to know what you're actually spending, so that's what we can budget for. Increased cash flow is the second one. And can I ask you this? Did you get a tax return last year? You did. Well, let's try moving that back and put it in your paycheck. We'll adjust your W-4s. Eliminate debt. We have got a debt eliminator where we have you list all your debts, put the biggest balance on top or the smallest balance on top, and you pay this one until you pay it off. And then you move this amount of money and pay $238 here. And that way you cut your debt off in half the time that you would have done it otherwise. I think. So we eliminate debt. Develop an emergency fund. This is very important. You should have an adequate one. It should be in a safe place. It should have it, have better interest than your checking account. Should be systematic withdrawal, and be completely liquid, like a money market account. You can get that at the bank. So, but it shouldn't be in a cookie jar under the mattress. It should be in a bank somewhere. And emergency fund is for things like an alternator going out, the washer, dryer, the refrigerator, something that you have to have. And the other good thing about an emergency fund, it could be when you run one of your kids to the emergency room and they want $500 in order to touch her. Yeah, you could write a $500 check, but will it bounce? Probably so. Anyway, you need to have some money put back. And this money is not for the pizza you ordered tonight when you spent the money for the pizza for your lunch today. So that's not a part of it. That is not an emergency. Emergency is things that we discussed. All right, so the next one we have is protect what you have. You need a little life insurance. You have a wonderful family of 5, John, and what happens when you're not in the picture? What happens, for instance, I have a friend whose son had an aneurysm on the way home from work one night. And he hit a tree. He was in a coma for a year and then he died. What happens to his family without life insurance? Do they sleep under the bridge? Rescue mission? What happens to them? Life gets tougher. Yeah, she gets a little paycheck from Social Security because she has the kids, but that doesn't send them to college. That doesn't help them with the extras that they need. So you should have a little life insurance to take care of those things. Okay? Step 6. This is the greatest one. This one is financial income and financial savings. And, I really want you to listen to me. This one is so important. And I need to get nose to nose with you. Maybe I don't know you well enough to tell you you need to learn these concepts and learn them good. Because without learning these concepts, the time of your retirement is way out there, if you ever get there at all. So, I want you to listen. There are 2 financial battles you have to win in order to win the money game. That's inflation and the tax battle. I'll get to inflation in a minute, but first we're going to hit the tax battle. And the tax battle, it is not what you earn, it's what you keep. And taxes could hurt you if you're not careful. Now, the rule of inflation. do you know the rule of 72? A lot of people have heard about it, but they don't really understand it. So if you have 72 and the interest rate was 4%, you divide one into the other, it would take 18 years for your money to double. That's a long time. Now I'm going to move this up a little and make this, let's make it 6. 6 would make it 12 years. All right. So in 18 years, this $100 would be $200. Another 18 years, this would be 36 years, $400, and this would be 36. So you're kind of even there. All right, $400. $1,600. And $3,200. And $6,400. Alright, let's go back and look at this. Alright, this one I had double that amount. Okay, I want to show you one of these. Alright, this guy had $10,000, 4% interest, 18 years. He has $40,000. Alright, over here he had 12% interest, $10,000. And at age 65, he had $640,000. The difference being $600,000. And the only difference here, not the amount of money, they're the same amount of money. This one's 4%, this one's 12%. They both reach 65. Now, let me ask you this. If you were 65 years old, your house is paid, your kids are grown, how long would $40,000 last? Not very long. A year and a half at the most. So, maybe 2. So again, I'm going to say it's not having the $10,000. It's having a systematic payment savings going into the bank. It's earning you money, compounding, and getting there. So we need to do something. All right, so I showed you that. Now, you're going to ask me, where do I get this kind of rate of return? Well, there's kind of 3 different synopses I'm going to show you. One has to do with the bank, one the index, and one stock market. Now we're going to start over here. The banks have CDs and money markets that have low interest rate, 2-3% if you can get that, and no loss of principal and no loss of interest. Now that's a pretty good deal, but except this interest rate. The stock market over here, you have the stocks, you have the mutual funds, and the higher interest rate usually, but the interest rate goes up and down and up and down, and these days you have money and these days you don't. Over here with the index fund, S&P has averaged 10% over the last couple of years. No loss of principal, no loss of interest, and got the 10%. So where would you like your money to be? So knowing that, it's going to help me put together a package for you if you're interested in what we do. All right. Let me show you a 10%. This guy, $10,000. First year it ran to 11. The second year it was 12.1. And then the market tanked. And so then you would have had a 20%. Can the market do that? Yes, indeed it can. 9.6. All right, but you still, because you're in the index fund, has still the 12.1. If it goes on for 5 years this way, they come back and give you 2%. Then if it goes up 15%, you get 12. The insurance company is going to take this 3%, but in order to be up here, isn't that worth the 3%? That's the way they make their money. Okay? Okay. Now I'm going to tell you another short story. There was a young man who didn't know these principles, went into the bank and said, Mr. Banker, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 60. What do I have to invest in order to be to be a millionaire at 60? The banker figured it up, and back there you could get 5%, really easy. He said, $1,640. The young man said, I don't have that kind of money. He left the bank and didn't save anything. Now, let's go back and apply the other principles. All right, let's see if he got 10% instead of 5. He would have had to save $900 a month. Now, that's a savings of $700. But how many people have $900 a month? I don't. Do you? No. Okay. All right. The rule for taxes. Tax deferred. So if we put in the taxes, he would have had to save $200 to $300 a month. Now, could you do that? Yeah, I think I could do that too. So we have this taxes. $200 or $300 a month he could save, and he could be a millionaire by the time he's 60. That's a pretty good thing. So if you were financially secured at 60, what would you be doing? That's good. Yeah, those are awfully cool. All right, and so that's step 6. So let's look at step 7. Step 7 is estate planning. You need to decide where you want your money to go when you die. Do you want something to go to your church? Do you want your antique car to go to your son? Whatever you want, so you don't have a mess when you die. Now, those are our 7 steps. Whether expect what you expect, increasing cash flow, reducing debt, emergency fund, insurance plan, or financial savings, or estate planning. All are very important. Which 2 would you pick? Okay. So what we do now is we fill out a financial needs analysis and decide, you tell me which way you want to go. Then I take that information back to my home office. We run some analysis, and I come back to you and show you. And this is going to be awesome. You're going to love this. And you're going to owe me big time. You know, when this happens, because this is really awesome. And it'll get you where you want to go. So I need to ask you 3 or 4 questions. They're yes and no, no maybes. And so we can fill out some papers. And what I do is go back to the office and fill those papers out. And I suppose you'd like to know how you're going to pay me. So when we meet back here together, I want fresh baked chocolate chip cookies and a tall glass of cold milk. I'm just kidding. I want to put a smile back on your face. No, you owe me nothing. What happens is the insurance company that I hooked you up with will pay me a finder's fee, and that's how I get paid. All your money goes to work for you right now. It's a win-win situation for both of us, because I don't have to wait on you making your monthly payments, um, and you don't have to see me taking chunks out of your retirement money. And that's not my job to take your money away. It's to get you to where you want to be. Okay, so the first question is, do you have any plans for a big ticket item in the next 2 or 3 years? Okay. If I were to put a plan together for you, met your financial goals, met the income that you said that you could put away, and met all the options, would you be willing to do business with me? Okay. Is there anyone else that has to be here to help make that decision? All right. If you'd like to do it, how soon would you like to get started? Oh, right away? Okay. All right. And is there a buddy out there that you would be like lie on the beach with? There is? Well, I'll take referrals, and you can refer your buddy to me, and we can set him up a plan so he can retire about the same time, and maybe you can lay on a beach sometime together. Okay. There any questions? All right. Thank you for meeting with me.